just realized that I never actually filmed an intro to this video. So you get to look at the ugly side of the boat while I tell you that I found an engine on Facebook Marketplace, 454 fuel injected marine engine with marine exhaust and a heat exchanger and everything for a dang good price. And honestly couldn't pass it up, so I drove roughly 16 hours round trip, 8 hours one way, to go pick this thing up, brought it back, got it out of my garage, and put it on some jack stands, traced the wiring, figured out which wires go to which pieces and places and stuff, and then I got it fired up. So here's the first fire up and the subsequent things that I did to try to get this engine to be ready to be put in my boat. So there's that. Sorry about the lack of everything else. And out of gas. All right, update. So, yeah, been busy. So the engine, yes, my shop is absolutely destroyed right now. I have not cleaned or done anything organizational wise. I've been project after project after project. So that's the old engine from the big boat. This is going to be the new engine. This is at 97-ish, 454 multi-point fuel injection with what I call brand new, because the guy said these are new. Kodiak, which apparently went out of business, but I don't know why, because these are fancy. Look at like 4 drains, so you get all your water out. Fuel pumps, filters. It's got this heat exchanger. Oh, my bad. Date of manufacture, 98. 454 L29 F whatever. Yep. So, I can't say I picked this up for a song, but I did pick it up for a lot cheaper than I thought I was going to be able to pick it up for. And it runs. Ran it right here in the shop just a few minutes ago. Checking out some things. So, and I just took off the exhaust on this side because I am going to be replacing the valve seats, or seals. I mean, valve seals. So, there's that exhaust. Okay, I cannot tell you guys. The aluminum exhaust, I mean, I'd say 20 pounds, maybe. Maybe. Inversely, the exhaust for that 350 was cast iron, and I think each of them weigh 50 pounds. So I don't know if I'll be zooming out saving any weight by putting this in. Probably not, but that aluminum exhaust is definitely going to help. So a couple of things. So putting it on a Volvo 280 outdrive, which, go figure, is over there on the ground. Volvo 280s didn't come with 454s, but all my research has shown that they can handle the power and the torque. I am not planning on modifying this. I'm not going for big power. It's a 28-foot houseboat. All I wanted to do is consistently get up to 25-ish miles an hour and not blow the engine every single time. So this thing is fancy snazzy. Flywheels. So originally it came with a 168 tooth flywheel, externally balanced. I went through all of my other flywheels. These are all externally balanced, and none of them fit because these are all Gen 2 small block And that has the same bolt pattern as a Gen 1 small block, even though it's externally balanced. So I don't know who at Chevrolet decided that that was a good idea. But I did find, so this flywheel, and you can see it has been, it has been re-drilled and remachined. I don't know who did it, but it looks pretty dang good. And I actually ran this flywheel on my another engine for maybe 100 hours without any problems. And the only reason I replaced it was because this one has been drilled out for the bigger hole, and I thought maybe it would cause issues in the long run if I was using those inside holes instead of the outside holes and using the centering ring. So I feel like somebody took this to a machine shop, had it turned, and then had it re-drilled. The only thing I had to do was pull out the indexing stud. So the indexing stud is just about right inside there, would be where it would be. I don't know why they didn't drill another one out, but I looked at the original flywheel and bounced the indexing stud there to the counterweight in there, and saw that it was just offset. Oops, sorry, you can't see. Just offset this way. So my little arrow right there shows that indexing stud's there. That's the center of the thing, so it's just offset that way. So I'll probably pull this off and paint it up and make it pretty before I put that piece on, which needs new gimbal bearings again and a new seal, even though I just put those on about a year ago. I feel like there was some internal balancing issues going on with the other engine and whatever else was going on. So, but yeah, took me a minute to figure out these. I've got a wiring diagram that I drew up somewhere, but basically red power, purple goes to ignition fuel pump, and yellow stripy wire is your starter start button, and everything else is sensors. So I'll have to get all those figured out eventually. So, but dual oil filters, cool, in case one goes bad while you're out on the water, you don't die. And new ignition distributor cap, distributor coil. One thing, so the guy said that this engine is burning a little oil, about 1 quart every 10 or so hours. I ran this engine for about 2.5 hours total, and it didn't burn a single drop of oil. But I did adjust the timing. So this engine says 8 degrees before top dead center. It should be your ignition timing. Anything further than that and you're messing things up, well, it was sitting at like 22 degrees base timing. So I retarded the ignition down to 8, and it starts running great. It was missing and popping and cracking and doing some things when it was really, really advanced. So that might be the deal. But being that I have the engine out, it's like 8 bolts to get the exhaust off, 8 more bolts to get the valve cover off, and valve seals are like $30. So I'm going to replace the valve seals while I can, and that way I'll know that it wasn't that. I've checked the compression. Compression was good across the board. I didn't have any compression issues. All the spark plugs looked pretty dang good. Didn't have any issues with the spark plugs. It came with coolant in it already. Cool, save $8. And oil in it, which I did top off with some 5W30. I'll probably do a full oil change on it later, but this oil is like pristine. So I almost feel like there's no reason to change the oil, but for the sake of longevity, I might as well. Alternator works. I did have to change out the starter, so that is actually the starter for that small block. That is the starter that came on here. 168 tooth but I need that to go on that. So I can't use that. So I put the other starter, which was new a couple years ago, and the 153 tooth flywheel. And now I'm going to tear into this thing and see if any of these valve seals look like crap. So, yep, wish me luck. Oh yeah, the other thing I'm going to have to do. Loop, 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 loop. Because those are like 2 inches center to center too far in for the exhaust on this bigger block, being that it's the big block, to match up. So I'm going to cut those, get some exhaust hoses, bend it out just a little bit, angle it up just a little bit, plug it in. I hope it works. If it doesn't, I'll figure things out. But there's that. So I'll see you guys later. Another update. Not what I wanted to see. I think this engine sat for a good while under a tarp. And I'm hoping, like a lot of hope, that an oil change will fix this, because that looks like rust. That one's got some rust on it too, and I'm thinking it just had condensation in it, and then when I ran it, because that's water, or maybe that's water. So let's clean it up and do an oil change after I get these valve seats done, because I mean, look, there's some rust in here too. Yeah, that water's been in there for a hot minute. I'm thinking condensation, because the oil was perfectly clean when I pulled it out, and I'm thinking that it just has some condensation in it, and I might need to flush the engine out. So great. Small update. So been working on changing out these valve seals. Done. Not done. May come back to this one. It would not release the keepers no matter what I tried to do. Done, done, done. Just took that off. One of these things is not like the others. In fact, that's weird, because if you look at the keeper here, so there's a lot of exposed spring. No exposed spring. And then if you look at the side profile, these kind of taper down, and then they taper out. That one is out, tapered down. Somebody put that spring on upside down when they built these heads. Don't know when, but this is also the cylinder that has the most oil on the spark plug, because this was the other one. So I'm almost guessing that that's where the valve seal is bad, and that's why this engine might have been burning oil. So let me change that out. And I guess you can never quite get things perfect. Alright, so got that off. The springs, the seal was whatever. They're all a little worn out, and they all have a little bit of stuff going on. So this fits very snug in the right side of the spring. On the opposite side of the spring, which is the way it was, it just moves around. So not certain if that can true. There we go. Oh, look at that. Wow. 1 in a million chance. Never could do that again. But yeah, let me put a new seal on here, install the spring properly, and just pray that that might be the answer to this oil burning problem. So yeah. Small block Chevy exhaust for a Volvo 280. I don't know what these are, but I ran my hand down in here, and you can't see my hand. There you go. Okay, those do not protrude out at any point, so put that down one-handed, so I can actually grind those off, which would be nice because I mean it might take some fairing and stuff, but what I'm thinking is I got 6 inches of exhaust hose, and that's the engine running in the background over there. So I got 6 inches of exhaust hose over there, which means that I can cut it somewhere around that 3-inch mark right there, which is roughly just over about an inch from that thing. And then I'll do the same on the other side, and then it'll allow this part to index out and maybe up a little bit to be able to fit the wider, bigger engine, because it's about 4 inches total, so 2 inches on each side. So this needs to come out, or maybe it was less than 2 inches. Damn it, now I'm second guessing myself. Hold on. 2 inches seems like a lot. Crossing my fingers. So we'll go from, let me flip this over. Zoom out. Hey, look at that. Cool. So from that side, outside to outside, it's just about 28.5, give or take. This is gonna be loud. Oh my gosh. All right, that is 32.5. So 32.5, 28.5, 4 inches. So 2 inches on each side is what I got to bend out. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna cut this, bend it out with those exhaust hoses that are on there right now. I gotta take them off the engine right now. They're just diverting water away from the engine itself and onto the ground. And then grind those nubs off. And I feel like these are just like casting things. I mean, they don't really, you see I painted this at one point. It used to be a silver, now it's a red. I might go black on the next one, but I feel like those are just like casting marks or like storage marks where they're just easily like there. I don't think they provide any sort of structural integrity. So my worst fear would be to like burn through them. But again, if I have 3 inches above my line there, exhaust bellow would seal the hole. I could always slide it up a little bit if I felt like I needed to. So maybe, yeah, I feel like about an inch below there and an inch below there. I'm gonna lop those off. That engine's gonna keep running for like another 30-20 minutes or so, and then I'm gonna kill it, check everything, check the oil, do an oil change and all that other stuff. So I'll get this going and keep you guys updated. All right, so she's been running for about an hour and 8 minutes or so. Let's see, must have 160-degree thermostat. Block itself 164, other side 162. Exhaust is nice and cool, 85. Oh, 145 on the heads up there. So yeah, runs like a dream. Here, let me rev it up for you. down, let her cool down, and check some stuff. So, and probably should go turn off the water too. So, there it is. To this. So, engine finally got shut off. So, basically did this one. Started with a grinder disc. I don't suggest that. You'll gum up your disc, and it can be dangerous. So I was kept cleaning it off on that old brake disc. But I found that a flap disc works way better. I mean, it does get filled up a little bit, but again, you can just take it and run it on something clean, like a piece of steel, and it cleans it right up real quick. It also takes the material down just as fast, if not faster, than a grinder. Then I used some 80 grit, which I just put that on the ground, so that's why it's all gross. But some 80 grit and smoothed it down. And again, you can see where the line was where it was before. But overall, I think this is going to seal just fine. So now I've got my line right there, and I need to make a line about sciencey, because, you know, measured that one to perfection. And I think I'm going to use a hacksaw. I thought about using a cutoff wheel, but I think a hacksaw is going to work better. Just being this is aluminum, it's not hard to cut, and I want a fairly straightish line. I mean, I could probably do that with a grinder wheel, but I'd also gum it up, because I did attempt, as you can see, to cut sideways across there. I don't recommend it. You can't get the grinder down there flat, and I kept thinking I was going to cut into the pipe and then have to either get that fixed or figure out a way to seal it with JB Weld or something. So next thing to do is going to be cut that in half, so let me go get that done. All right, so mocked up. As you can see, it's close, right? And then here, but I wish I could two-hand this. So looking, and of course this is literally so scientific, I'm holding it up on 2 pairs of tires, but I think those will flex out and those will flex out, and actually I think the height is almost right, which is kind of funny because I actually lengthened these by, there's 2 inches in between. So this is literally the bellows I took off of there, or exhaust pipes or tubes or whatever you want to call it. I actually inverted these because this side's a little bit smaller going into there. This side, super thick. And by the way, hacksawing by hand, yeah, I got maybe a 16th of the way in before I decided that I had a Sawzall and a bimetal blade, and yeah, that made quick work of it. Yeah, so don't bother with the hacksaw unless you absolutely have to. So the only thing I could do would be to put this back in the boat and then make more measurements from there. But honestly, I think what I need to do is getting the gimbal housing rebuilt and getting some things cleaned up and painted. And after running this engine, it had some gooey oily stuff like what was in my old engine, so got a little worried. And then I remember this thing sat for who knows how many years underneath of a tarp in Washington State. So just ran it for an hour, and the oil is perfect, immaculate. There's not a drop of what looks like condensation water mix. So I'm guessing that it just went through a lot of heat and cold cycles with snow around and all that other stuff. Got some water up on the top end, and when I ran it, mixed in with the oil, made it a little milky, and then that was it. So hopefully you know, this will be a lot better. I may run it again for another hour or two, but what I'd really like to do is get this completely mocked up and put together before I run it again, because it'd be nice if the water just came out of there, but instead of splattering all over the world and stuff. I know that ain't always going to happen, but you got to do what you got to do. But this looks like it's going to work. This actually looks like it's going to line up pretty dang good. You can see like that one, the hose is a little crickety bent. I think I'm going to loosen up that clamp and then kind of, and then there, and then I'm going to double clamp all these because there is enough meat on there to double clamp them. But yeah, and then I need to order new hoses for the top end, which I should probably go do right now. This flywheel seems to work just fine. It came from a externally balanced engine, and I mean, I can't believe I just had that laying around. It's actually a Volvo Penta flywheel. The part number cross references to a Volvo Penta. So don't know if it was a Gen 1 engine, Gen 2 engine, Volvo Penta flywheel thing, but it's balanced, and I threw a couple of bolts in it just to make sure that they worked, and forgot to take them out, so the engine ran with bolts sitting there like that for a long time. But yeah, it's like my got water up on my fuel filter from the water splashing off the exhaust, so yeah, no big deal. But yep, there's that. So I'm excited. I'm gonna start cleaning out the bilge and getting everything done today, and I'm hoping to have this thing in the boat sometime in the next 4 or 5 days. And as far as I know, this is the only big block to a Volvo Penta 280 swap that I've ever seen on YouTube. Nobody talks about it, so but yeah, hopefully this comes out really nice. I would love to get my big boat back on the water and not have to worry about stressing a small block when I can have a really nice, big, mildly built, powerful 500 foot-pounds, 325 horsepower big block pushing that boat around. Because I don't care how much you string out a small block, you're on borrowed time when you're pushing that much weight. And there's a reason they don't put small blocks in freaking tow trucks and stuff. It's just not feasible. So LS, different story. But hey guys, I don't have LS money, so there's that.